What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mushroom View 2020. No, I'm just kidding. But I figure if I'm going to sit here and talk about something unnatural, might as well let you look at something unnatural that isn't my face. So enjoy. If you've been paying attention to what's going on with the COVID pandemic recently, perhaps you have noticed there's quite a bit of attention being drawn to vaccines, testing, tracing, things like that. And I can't help but ask myself, what do these vaccines look like? Is it something I would want in my body, in my son's body, things like that? Mainly because unless you're just turning a blind eye to what's actually happening, it's pretty apparent that we're moving to a world where you are going to have to be accountable for either proving you're not infected or proving that you have some sort of immunization, like a vaccine, something like that. And that gets me thinking about what are the current vaccines being developed going to do to our bodies? How do they interface? Really, what are they doing to combat the issue here, which is the virus that spreads and then causes a disease which can be fatal. So, Moderna, a company which is doing trials in Seattle, Washington. They've been doing this since January, developing trial vaccines which are developed specifically to target the genetic code of the cells in our body which could potentially cause harm. It's called messenger RNA, can then be used, mRNA, can be deployed into the body, and this RNA has the ability to modify the genetic code of cells within our body. So Moderna is working on this totally new field of medicine where you're using an entity of sorts to reprogram certain cells in your body. Pretty breakthrough. It's really mind-blowing if you think about what what can be done through natural means like that, right? You can take essentially this messenger RNA and tell it to recode certain cells or these viruses that are trying to attack our body and have them transform using proteins that are generated as a result of this recoding, so that this messenger is able to both read and rewrite your genetic code. Now, in this particular context, it only has to do with those cells that match whatever pattern it is to identify uniquely the coronavirus, right? However, on the flip side of this, there are companies investing in nanotechnology. These are robots, nano entities that are smaller than viruses themselves. These entities could very well act in the same way as messenger RNA, because these little nanobots can both read and write genetic code. So the theory here is, and let me back up a little bit, there is no vaccine right now So we're seeing a huge push toward contact tracing, testing, etc. And I just have to ask myself, what good is one test, right? This is a continual effort. It's not just deploy a test for every person in the nation so they can get it one time and then that's worthless, right? This has to be a continual effort to contain until we have a cure. So when you see policy being drafted and dictated based upon these recommendations, common sense really just leads you down the path of this is where we're going. There's no question about it. You cannot be administering fever checks, all of this nonsense that is proven to show false positives and false negatives with regard to coronavirus infection. So really what I'm getting at here is the futurists, the people at the cutting edge of technology are going to use nanotechnology to interface with your human body and all of the cells therein, so that this isn't just a cure for coronavirus. This is a cure for literally every genetic mutation, potentially, that can be identified, and then have a fix applied. So think about the vaccines that we already currently have. We know there are certain ways to quell and combat those viruses or whatever ailments they may be. It's really just a matter of time before those medicines and the processes that went into making those medicines are translated to a genetic sequence that could be modified. And this is where you really have to do your own research. You cannot trust me on this wholly. I've seen the videos. I really need to start compiling a list here from these companies themselves. This isn't like conspiracy. This is companies at the cutting edge of technology who are currently working on these types of solutions. So in conclusion, I really have to ask myself if we are getting to the point where nanotechnology can be used as a tool in medicine and could potentially have the ability to connect to AI systems which can feed continual updates about new viruses, things to look out for in your genetic code. At what point are you submitting yourself to the machine? And when do we say enough is enough?